So I just wanted to go over some of the games that I'm playing in order to get to Great Champion, I believe, or Legendary Champion. The last league, I just don't know what their names are. You might think that by now I should know what they are, but I really don't. Basically, here I start off with my split wall breakers. This looked to be a golem deck, I believe. I decided to go for a magic archer right there just to defend the phoenix. I didn't really have anything else in hand. And it's quite nice because I get a counter push. There's also this thing that I like to do, which is like go for opposite lane miner, tanking for both towers, because it means that I get like my opponents will have to defend two things at the same time. But there it doesn't really work out for me because he ended up going for a NATO, but it's whatever. I later go for the Spear Gobs at the bridge. He goes for the pump, very skilled golden player. And I'm like, all right, well I can't punish this because I have nothing. I don't have a miner. I don't have a well, actually, no. The only thing you can counter with is miner because you don't have poison in this deck. So I go for the wall breakers at the bridge and then throw a quick log, maybe predicting something, but he didn't play anything. So then I play my miner like a little bit late, but still, like, I don't want him to get that elixir advantage still. And so it ends up killing the pump for kind of like defending better. Kind of giving me the opportunity to defend better because he doesn't have more elixir. There he goes for the Spear Gobs, and I'm like, alright, he's probably going to NATO this, so I'm going to go quickly for my Knight, and such thing he does. But unfortunately, like, I wasn't fast enough first, and second of all, like, it wouldn't have mattered, but thankfully the E-Drag targets onto the tower targets onto the E-Drag, and then I'm able to get, like, a pretty clean defense. But if that had lived, that would have been very, very, very bad for me. I also go for the NATO to activate my King Tower of the Golemites, and then I go for quick wall breakers to just execute like an offense. I also go for my miner on the pump, and then I pressure opposite them with Spree Gobs, but then he goes for the Lumberjack, which I have to log away, obviously. So what I'm thinking here is like, all right, this is a golem. I'm down a lot. I gotta go for a really good defense here. So I just go for the bomb tower. I go for the wall breakers opposite lane, defending that very, very. Pressuring him a little bit. I thought of like going for a miner to like pull the darkness to the other lane, but I was like, nah. Then also NATO. He thankfully misses the NATO here, which allows my magic archer to stay alive. And then this is something that I really like to do against golems on defense, which is just going for those defensive wall breakers that pull everything to the other lane and give my magic archer just more time. He then goes for a very terrible golem at the bridge that he cannot support. And here I'm expecting the NATO again because that's what they do every single time to kill your ranged troop. And so I, in preparation, throw another magic archer, which but for the NATO that he never played. I then go for a miner on the opposite lane, trying to get that pump. It doesn't work for me, and I was trying to get a lineup there, obviously, but it didn't work with the Lumberjack. I then try to go for a Knight. Terrible Knight here, going a little bit too late. And then I go for the defensive wall breakers because I know that the rage is going to kill the Spear Gobs, and it's very annoying, right? When you're trying to orchestrate like a defense, and then the rage just kills your swarm troop. I then go for the magic archer at the bridge. I pull everything back with the NATO too, trying to get as much damage as possible, and I'm like, all right, I'm not going to let this Phoenix revive. Lo and behold, it revives. So that's kind of suck. And then I'm like, this defense is obviously like going to be super rough. Like, look at all the stuff he has down. I only have a Knight. My Spear Gobs. One Spear Gob lives, which is actually like, I don't know if what gives me the win here. Spoilers, yeah, I win. But I just go for the magic archers while in the middle, trying to pull everything in. I ignore the Phoenix because I know that Phoenix is not going to take my tower. Whatever's on the right might take my tower if he keeps pressuring that way. And then I go for a quick NATO. Unfortunately, if he had played that Lumberjack a little bit later, I could have played my Knight in the middle and not wasted the NATO, but it's fine still, right? And then here I go for a very good tactic, which you always should go for, which is like wall breakers first and then the miner, because people will be like, oh, it's a miner. It's wall breakers, I'll just defend it normally. And then they defend it normally, but then usually wall breakers just survive everything. So one of them will survive while the other one dies, and the miner will come down, and then that will get the hit. And then here I just go for like overall very good defense, like just fucking pulling everything around. His troops are just like being manhandled right now, and that's just like, it's kind of like easier from here on out, just because like he doesn't have enough time to build a golem. So I know that I have it pretty much won at this point, and then it's like GG's by then. So this was a really good game, like against a matchup that is very hard, because even though he didn't have lightning, that NATO is always so threatening on defense when you want to play your magic archer. This is another game that I played against this guy. I don't remember what he was playing here. I believe, I guess we'll see. I go for my knight, trying to cycle to my evil. He goes for a peck, for a dark prince. So I'm like, all right, what could this be? This could be like, dark prince is usually like, I think I've only seen minors so far. And then I see firecracker, so I'm still thinking what this is. Even right now, like I really don't know what this is. I don't remember what this is. So I go for my spirit golem, sack through my king. Unfortunately, I butcher them a little bit, which means that I don't get that activation. But oh yeah, this is balloon. And then I go for a bomb tower, and then again, like I miss my bomb tower placement, and I don't activate my king. I'm like, fuck, man. Like I have 2 opportunities to activate my king now. I thought of activating my king here, but I was like, but I knew that I needed a little bit more elixir to defend those barbs. Like if I had played that, I'd be like at 0 right now. Which I guess it would have been fine in hindsight, but I didn't want to waste the elixir. So yeah, I just played my magic archer again, trying to fix like a defense against this dark prince, and then make sure to pull it back with the wall breakers. I was hoping that when I saw that firecracker that one of them would not get hit, but it did. So that was kind of lame. So this firecracker will get a little bit of chip damage with those like sparks. I go for the miner again, trying to make him defend, right? Because you always want to force like negative elixir traits from your opponent and make them defend with like really expensive things when they have bad hands. And then he goes for a Mega Knight. Like he always whips out a Mega Knight from his ass, and I'm just like, wow. Like these players, they will always have a Mega Knight. Like it could be anything. It could be 2.6, and they'll just have the Mega Knight in for the golem. So I fucking hate this. I fucking hate Mega Knight, man. It's just so rough for this deck, or maybe I'm just bad, right? But I feel like it's so rough for this deck, man. I go for a high bomb tower, avoiding like the Mega Knight sort of splashing the tower, and it also pulls the balloon for the longest time possible, and the longest distance, and then just magic archer again to finish that off. He goes for a really bad evil firecracker, which allows me to log it away thanks to it being hit by the magic archer. And I'm still down. Like even though we're playing good defense and all that, we're still down. He's still being able to chip us out, get like maybe death damage here and there, maybe some sparks here and there. So we gotta like focus up at this point. I then decide to go for my wall breakers to pressure him opposite lane and maybe make sure that he cannot support these barbs. I also go for the defense of the barbs with the log and blah blah blah, you know, standard stuff. So again, in these matchups, like I said last time, you have to make sure to keep your magic archers on the field, because they have a hard time. Like as you can see right there, he has arrows, and arrows doesn't kill magic archer. So your magic archer will do the same amount of damage. This is something I heard once. Your magic archer will always do the same amount of damage, even if it's a 1 HP. And then he whips out a freeze for no reason. So I activate my king here. So because of that, because your magic archer will always do the same amount of damage, that means that you want to preserve it alive as much as possible. You can orchestrate a whole defense with just one magic archer at 1 HP. So that's very valuable to keep in mind. There I just like go for offense again, trying to force out elixir from him, and I do, because I'm trying to avoid him from, I'm trying to stop him from throwing down like a Mega Knight on my stuff, or like behind the tower, and then have like a super big push coming at me, because this deck doesn't have like the most damage. Here I go for the wall breakers expecting a log and then miner, but then he just goes for the Mega Knight again. Like they'll like 5 elixir Mega Knight, yeah, that's good for me. Like they always think this. I don't know why they always think like that. And then he goes for the balloon on the opposite lane. Then again, like this is not so hard to defend because this guy's deck makes no sense. By this point, I was like, all right, I'll throw my wall breakers, but I should have waited and played my miner, because if I had, then those wall breakers would have lived, and I would have gotten more damage, and I would have been like high up. But at that time, like I was not thinking straight. Like I forgot that the log was in cycle, and that my spear goblins were gonna warrant like a bigger defense because they were also going to that lane. So then again, I keep on just cycling my magic archers, making sure that I can like defend a balloon if he decides to go in for the bridge. And here I cycle yet another one, and he just like gives up and gives me the win because he realizes that he can't win. So that's very, very nice. Now in this match, we're playing against a Japanese player. I try to cycle my knight every single time. I also recommend that you really play around with like different placements with for your minor, because it can really save you in moments where you need to have your to get damage on the tower. So sometimes you have to put in like really not obvious spots, like if they have a troop right beside it, play it just like right beside it so it will not lock into them, but it will target the tower and it will make them think like, oh, there's a troop right there, he's gonna play it somewhere else. So that always works. Well, not always obviously, but like it works really well. It's something that I've like tested out and it really works. Here he's playing with a Firecracker Knight. So whenever I see Firecracker Knight, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be EQ, Hog EQ. But then I see Fireball, and I'm like, all right, well, what could this be? And I also saw the Dark Goblin, so I was like, oh, he did it last time. I'll just predict that with my minor. So and that allows me to get a hit on the left and the right. And then he also has a Goblin Gang, so naturally this is a very weird deck. He also has Zap, so since I see him use his Zap, I just go for the Zap. I just go for the Spear Gobs at the bridge because I know that there's no way that he cannot like underspend and then get a positive elixir trade from that. So, and that's exactly what happens. Like he goes for a Knight and then he takes a -1, and then I have like this countering Magic Archer and Evil Knight going for me. This one I was like, he probably has a Mega Knight, and he basically had a Mega Knight, which is like, you know, the slower two-handed version of the Mega Knight, no splashing version of the Mega Knight, which is the P.E.K.K.A. But people have not been playing P.E.K.K.A. as much as I expected, so I guess that's a good thing, because P.E.K.K.A. is also really hard. Like bridge spam is really hard for this deck. And then I just do like a very good defense, like keeping my login cycle, expecting the Dark Gob. I go for the Knight, I go for the Spear Gobs, and even then, like the Knight was really good because I was expecting like some sort of like a Zap or something, and then I go for my Magic Archer here at the bridge, and he just goes for a P.E.K.K.A. and I just take like my few hits and then let it go instead of NATOing and then maybe having to take more damage than I wish. I go for a minor here to pull everything back, maybe predicting a Firecracker as well, but he played it differently. And then I go for a NATO, trying to get some chip on that Firecracker as well, and just pulling everything back. And then here it's like, it's always complicated to defend Evo Knight, but it worked out for me. I just go for my Knight here on defense as well. That double Knight was kind of rough. Like I was kind of scared about that, but thankfully nothing went wrong. And here he just gives me a really good log, allowing me to log away the P.E.K.K.A. and also hitting the what's his name, the Dark Goblin. So that was really nice. Here I go for the Knight, naturally predicting the Firecracker, because like these guys will always go for Firecracker at the bridge. That's the only thing they know how to do. Like they won't even like try to like I don't know, have like mind games or anything. They'll just go for it every single time and then have to take that damage every single time if you don't predict it, obviously. So here I go for my Knight again on defense, and I'm falling a little bit down just because that Firecracker got an extra hit that I didn't want it to get. And then I go for really high Magic Archers. Like as soon as I see all those fireballs from the beginning of the game, I'm like, okay, I gotta go for high Magic Archers in order for him to not be able to get value on my Magic Archer on the tower. So yeah, I just go for my minor there, kind of hitting that Dark Goblin, making sure to defend my Magic Archer. And then he goes for a Firecracker that just gets like 2 hits. And it's like, it's crazy how Evos will allow you to just come back in games like you're clearly losing, where you're clearly outclassed, just because he played like some dumb cards. So I'm like, fuck, I'm super down. He's gonna play something on my minion because he's scared, and then I go for a Magic Archer at the bridge and NATO just to make sure that I win. And that was a really sick game. Like making sure to play that minor in the exact position where I'll be able to get some Magic Archer damage was extremely key to push high in this. I mean, to beat this matchup.